I'm going to share my screen. You guys keep putting in the chat if you like while I am speaking. So I loved creating this very little graphic for our deep dive into Instagram. I've been doing social media for about 9 years now, and it started all with Facebook mostly, but I would say my favorite platform by far is Instagram right now. And I am not the only one. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I like it and what that means for you. And then we're going to take a deep dive into features. So this guy says, what's so great about Instagram? Well, let's talk about your pain points. You're actually doing that a little bit for me in the chat because there's so many of you. I wanted to make sure that we get through the presentation and then I can answer questions. But it sounds like most people are comfortable with doing posts, but then when we get into the other features like Reels or Stories or Instagram TV or any of the other features, people are a little bit more iffy about that. So we'll talk about all those kind of things. Okay, so as a business, what's so great about Instagram? Why do we as content curators love Instagram so much? Well, for the person who is using Instagram, the ease of use, both on the back end and as just somebody scrolling through Instagram, is just so easy to use and uncumbersome. Engagement. It is really easy to get engagement on Instagram, and people are more likely to engage on Instagram as in light of like sharing and commenting. So we like engagement. That really helps our Instagram accounts, and that helps spread the word. And then target market penetration. It's a lot easier to find your target markets on Instagram than it is on Facebook. I don't know if you remember when boosting posts on Facebook was a big thing, but you'd boost posts or do ads, and then you'd reach people who would never, ever shop or patronize your business. And it was just kind of like, wow, I just paid all this money and like nothing came of it. So target market penetration is really a big one. And then the features. I don't know any other platform that offers this many features. Instagram, just started off as this like pretty photo sharing app, and then suddenly they decided, well, we're going to give you something that's like YouTube, and we're going to give you something that's like TikTok, and we're going to give you something, all the our own features that aren't on any other platform. So they've really done a great job of adding useful features. The other thing that's so great about Instagram is the content display. So when you look at Instagram versus some other platforms, it's very clean looking. It's very easy to see a whole range of photos, or scroll through your feed without a lot of noise. There's no articles. It's really easy to look at, and therefore pleasant to hang out there. It's clutter free. There's not any sidebars like distracting you. It's highly visual, which people like. It's the end of the day and you're tired and you don't want to read a whole bunch of stuff. And it's great for building your brand because you're literally creating almost like a virtual store or business with your Instagram account. Whereas Facebook, all the pages tend to look very similar because of the layout. Your Instagram is really going to look very unique according to the content that you're putting there. I pulled an example from therapy, just to give an example of like in this one little screenshot, you can really get a sense of the place, the kind of things they sell. They've done a really good job at setting up their profile. So I've got great relevant information like the name of it, what it is, something that speaks to their values and is interesting to me. Family owned and operated since '94. That's great. I want to support a small family owned business. What do? They deliver and ship throughout the US. Well, that's handy. That's something that I might do if I'm not in the state where they are. And you can also shop in their store, and then they have their website. So, I mean, they've already given me so much just in that little blurb, and then I can like pleasantly scroll through and see if anything catches my eye. And here's some interesting numbers about Instagram too. 70% are female identifying. That number changes a little bit, but this is one from 2021. Studies have shown that it tends to be that females do most of the purchasing. So when you're looking for somebody to actually take an action, they might be very likely on Instagram to do that. 60% of internet users have Instagram. So that's the majority are going to have Instagram if they're using the internet. So that's good. They're likely to have it. they're active. This is a big one. They're like actually doing things rather than just scrolling or, just enjoying it. They're actually taking action. This is what we want for sure. Because as I said before, it is a pleasant platform to look at. It's very calming and clutter free. So they spend time there. That's great. So they might happen upon your business because they're scrolling around or looking at hashtags. And they are 58 times more likely to like or share content versus Facebook. I thought that was really significant because that organic reach is so much, that's how you get your organic reach, when people share and comment. So when you think about your audience, obviously on the right, you think about your customers, your in-store customers or your online customers. But the other people you want to think about who are also your audience are influencers. They're going to share your content if it's good content, and the media or bloggers. They're always searching for really good content. So you want to remember them. And if you know any influencers or you know any bloggers or media or some organization that you want to share your content, tag them. They're more likely to see it if you tag the content. They might not do anything with it, but it doesn't hurt to share or to let them know that you've got some great content or great promotions or great things going on in your business. All right, let's explore further. All right, the first thing, and the thing I always tell people, is you've really got to get your profile right. Because if you're looking at a business or a name of a business and it doesn't tell you what you need to know, you might get frustrated thinking this is in your town, or I can't buy that thing because I didn't realize, because they didn't set up their profile that a way was easy for me to take an action. So I didn't, and I probably never will. So for most people in here, you're going to choose a business profile that allows you to do things like ad shopping. You can convert a personal profile to a business profile. So say you set up your Instagram a long time ago before they had business ones, you can convert it. Your photo should be your logo if you have one. That gives continuity to your website, your Facebook page, and your Instagram. It shouldn't be like a really reduced small photo of something in your store that people can't see. It should be very easily identifiable. An easy handle to follow. A lot of our Portland businesses have the name of their business plus PDX, very easy. Useful information like your hours and your website, just like I showed you on the therapy stores example. And location. People are all over the world searching on Instagram. So you want to put where you are. People often forget that one. All right, I picked Cargo. I don't know if Cargo's here today, but I look at your account a lot. So I would recommend to Cargo to actually make their profile a little bit more robust with a little bit more information, like maybe location. But I do love the fact that they have in-store shopping and curbside pickup for online orders. So that's great to know. But they have one thing that you've probably seen, or maybe you're already using, where it says instead of their website, they have something called Linktree. So what's that? So and I will add that a pain point with Instagram used to be that you couldn't put multiple links in the profile, and you can't put any links in the caption. So that used to be a real pain point, but someone came up with a solution. So Linktree is only one app that you can use for this type of thing, but I'm just going to use this one because it's the most common. So what does Linktree do? So if you click on that link, this is what you go to, and it invites your audience to take a number of different actions easily. They don't have to go to your website and search around. They don't have to, try and figure out like how to get to the product that they're looking at. You've got all these actions lined up for them to just click and go. And it just makes it very easy for them to do that. Venture Portland actually has a really nice Linktree set up. So if you want to go to Venture Portland on your phone and look right now where it says Linktree and click on that, you'd get a very similar menu. And actions are what we want them to take. But I know there's people who are like, no, I don't want to use this third-party app. How do we get around that? Well, there is a workaround for this. So you can create on your website an Instagram landing page that has a unique link that you can put in your Instagram profile. And when you create a landing page, it literally has all the same kind of things that I just showed you in the link tree as maybe thumbnails on that landing page, and then that'll take you to certain links on your website. Most people don't have an issue with Linktree, but there are some that do. So that is the workaround. And if you use Squarespace, they are set up to really integrate with this very easily with Instagram and a landing page. So you might look into that if you're Squarespace users. All right. Instagram shopping. I have a lot to say about this. So some people use Instagram shopping and some don't. And actually, this is a fairly new feature and unique in the US is that you can actually check out without leaving the Instagram app. So that's really a nice advantage that we have in the US over other countries right now. So but there are really specific things that you need to do before setting up your Instagram shopping. So check that your business is operating within an Instagram supported platform and has eligible product. And this all comes from Instagram. You just look up how to set up Instagram shopping. This is directly from them. Make sure that you comply with the merchant agreement and commerce policies. Make sure that you have an e-commerce website that you own. And be sure that your Instagram is a business profile, not a personal account. So that speaks to the fact that, if you don't have a website that has product on it, Instagram shopping isn't going to do anything for you. There are other ways to engage with your customers through that. But a lot of people do use Instagram shopping. So if you're already set up with product on your website, there's no reason not to do this because you're just going to get more sales of people like directly clicking. And we have our nice statistic here that 130 million Instagram users tap on shopping posts, every single one. That's a lot of users. And here's some best practices if you're going to do that. So use high quality imagery, utilize video, showcase your products in action. You can do shopping links on not only on posts, but on stories, reels, Instagram TV. It's almost like having your own home shopping network. It's kind of cool. And I think it's so neat that you can use all the different features and then the action step is right there for them to click on and buy that thing or engage with that thing. Share user generated content. So say somebody like an influencer or a great customer of yours shares themselves using the product that you sell. Be sure to share that because people really tend to trust other people almost before they would trust the business. Like if the other person is saying, this is the best blank I ever bought, everyone needs one of these, that type of testimonial really speaks to people versus the store who bought it, obviously saying, this is the best thing you'll ever buy and you really need one of these. So it just really adds to the shopping experience to just have those real people giving testimony about your product. And of course, you should always check with them before sharing, but mostly they like that because that increases people going to their pages. And then they have a really cool thing where you can put things in collections or guides. So you could even put items as, here's some gift ideas, customer favorites, gifts under a certain amount of money, whatever that looks like. And then again, it's almost like you're recreating like a mini website or shopping experience on your Instagram page, and they never have to leave the app. It's all right there for them. So here's just, this is Barber, a bigger company, but you can just see this, like, it's a lovely picture. It gives you the really sense and the flavor of the brand, and you can just click right there and get those exact things. I mean, wouldn't that have been neat if you could open up a magazine and then click and buy the product? That's basically what it is. You're opening up a virtual magazine, you're clicking, and you can actually have the product, delivered to your house. So Instagram rolled out a lot of features, what I feel like was really fast and sometimes without a lot of notice or fanfare. So it was like, what's a reel? What's a story? How do we catch up with all of this stuff? So I found this graphic on an Australian website. And even though I think it's over a year old, I thought it gave really good descriptions and differentiators between the different features. So for example, stories are 24 hours. They go away after 24 hours, but you can save them as highlights, which I highly recommend if it's like a post you want to retain. And Instagram Live. So Instagram Live, you can video stream either by yourself or with another person, which is really fun. And it got really, really trendy during the pandemic and still is. So a lot of people, including celebrities, were doing Instagram Live, including me. I have a lot of fun with Instagram Live. And I think you've probably heard it before, but in case you haven't, video is where it's at right now. People want movement, engagements. They want to see things happening. Your static posts are still important, but video tends to be looked at a lot more and makes people feel that they're in the experience and in the moment. Instagram TV, IGTV, most people don't realize this, but you can have videos that are so long, they can, I think, up to an hour. So this is the feature that's meant to compete with YouTube. So you can save like a short minute preview of it, and then it invites them to go and watch the rest of it. But it's a really nice place to save those long interviews, or you're talking about a product, or maybe you're introducing yourself, to your audience. That's a really good place to save that kind of stuff. And then Reels. So for Reels, that's just 15 seconds. That's the TikTok. Reels are the TikTok. So it's just a little 15-second fun blip. But what you can do is you can stitch together small ones, and then you can do a bunch of different ones in a row to create a continuous story. So there are a lot of really fun ways to play with Reels. And just like with TikTok, which has gotten so huge, everybody from book influencers to, people cooking, a lot of dancing videos, people like those really short snippets. They really like to engage with that kind of thing. So people love looking at Reels and just scrolling Reels by themselves. And if you notice on Reels, and I'll show you some examples, they get so many views versus how many likes or views you get on your posts. It's astonishing. All right. So if you've been to one of my webinars before, that, I talk about brand building a lot and creating a virtual experience. So basically the experience of going to your Instagram page should mirror the experience of shopping in your store, or, what it's like to be in conversation with you, or what it's like to enjoy one of your services or eat a meal in your restaurant. Your Instagram should feel like that. It should put people in the moment. How do we do that though? How do we do that? So I chose a case study, which is Amity. And Amity is a store downtown that it consists, well, let's look and see what it is. Let's pretend we don't know anything about it. Let's look at their Instagram. All right, first page. So it's called Amity Artisan Goods. That's good. That tells me about it. Their handle is really short, Amity PDX. We love that. Shopping and retail. So I know what it is. I've got a link to connect with them through their email. And what is it? Let's see. An alliance of Portland makers sharing their art and goods all in one place. Oh, that's cool. It's like a little marketplace for curated artisan goods. That's intriguing to me. And then they have the address right there and their phone number and their website. I have all these different ways to connect and engage with them, and I'm very clear on what it is. Right underneath that, you can see that they have their highlights set up in categories. So what these highlights are saved stories. So what they're doing is once they're putting their stories, which if you're not that familiar with stories, you'll see on somebody's profile, when this profile is highlighted and kind of lit up, that means they have a story in there. But because they go away in 24 hours, it's a really good idea to save them in categories. And I really love the way that Amity took the time to make the labels for their different highlights within the brand. It has the same font, it has different colors. So it's almost like, again, you're like, oh, I want to see I'm only interested in home goods. I don't care about jewelry. So I can go right there and kind of get a flavor for what kind of home goods they have. That's really handy and really easy. And I haven't even gone to like the Instagram feed yet. I can do all that by looking at just the top of the page. So good job, Amity, on that. If you haven't been to Amity, it's really cool. All right, let's look at Amity. Let's look at their posts and kind of see if we can get a sense from that. Yeah, so I see some people in the post, so they're highlighting some of the artists that they feature. I see all different kinds of aesthetics, but done like with a really nice sort of clean photo. It's intriguing. I can see the product very clearly. Yeah, I'm feeling good about that. I feel like a sense of what it might be like to shop in that store. That's all it is. And I like that, and they're all about their vendors. And because it's not just one store or one product, they're really highlighting their vendors. And you can see that in the posts. So if you can see here, I just wanted to point out, if you are not familiar with, if you can see where my pointer is, posts, reels, videos, and where you're tagged, I'm just literally going through each of those tabs to show you what this one account looks like and some of their best practices. So now we're going to the second tab, which says reels, and that's where your reels live. So for example, not all reels do the same, have the same attraction or audience, but look at how many people looked at their reels. And if you remember from their main page, they only have like 400 and something fans on their page. They're fairly new, but look how many people looked at their reels. That's a lot more. So when you're thinking about like, what's your next thing to learn, I would say, if you know how to do posts, I would almost put reels before stories or equal. It took me a long time to get used to doing reels. I didn't really understand how to do them or what they were. But once you start doing them and seeing how many people are seeing them, you will want to do them a lot more. So that's kind of exciting. And it's certainly exciting for these vendors who are being featured in the reels. And remember, you can tag the products. If you got a virtual store, you can tag the products, and somebody, how many of those 1,800 people might be tempted to buy that product? Well, if they can click on it, that's a win. And then this tab here, the third tab says videos. That is your Instagram TV. So these are your long form videos. And you can see they don't get quite as many views. People don't have a long attention span often, or time to, look at something like that. So for me, I tend to do less long form videos, as just that. That's where my Instagram live recorded videos live. So that it's just, if you want to go to videos, you can find them there. It's a nice holding spot for them. But I would say if you're going to put effort into videos, I would either do them just on your feed or in your reels, or both. Maybe you create a video for your feed and you share it to your reels, and you do both. You're not going to oversaturate anybody by doing it in two different features. And then the last tab is an important one, because this is where people have tagged you in your content. And when I talk about sharing the user generated content, this is a really good place to find it and engage with people. So if somebody shared your content and tagged you in it, you can send them a message saying thank you. You can share their post to your stories and tag them. You can compile them and do your own post and tag them in that. And it's a really neat way to see also what's resonating with people. What are they posting about? What are they excited about? And what does that look like? I mean, that last guy on the last corner is super excited about something. I want to know what it is. What is making that person so excited? And then also the other thing I will point out here, there are organizations like Small Shops, Big Hearts, Bricks Need Mortar. And definitely if they are tagging you in their post and doing posts about you, you want to thank them and you want to reshare that content. I mean, and also if you have a great post, why don't you tag them? Maybe they'll share your content on theirs, and it'll just keep circulating, going back and forth and reaching people. So don't forget about the many organizations that promote businesses, like your business association or Small Shops, Big Hearts, or Travel Portland, or those kind of, it's not only customers, it's also getting to new customers through other people's channels. Is everybody okay so far? It's a lot of talking. Instagram has a lot. And these are just some of the things I was saying. Tag the person or company, make sure you do that. Oftentimes people will share something in their stories and they forget to tag the person, and the person never knows that they shared it. So just take the time to tag them. There's a small little tag feature that's really easy to use, or you can just in the type feature, type at and their handle, super easy, does not have to be complicated. If you have a link to the product, certainly share that. Instead of just sharing, just hitting that share button, say something about it. You can use an emoji or a sticker that says thank you, or available today, or selling quickly, create some urgency, say something about it. So you're not just sharing the content. And plus it adds a little bit of personality. What's so fun about the stories is that they're of the moment. So you can have fun with it. Stick multiple stickers on there, put, a coffee cup walking down the street if you're a coffee place, it's just have fun with it. It's meant for that. Tell a little story. I'll have an example for you showing how somebody used their stories in a really compelling and interesting way. And then, as I said before, save the best ones as your highlights. It's really good content and it's going to go away, but you can spend a little bit of time creating those categories, and then those stories go right into that content for very easy access. So this is just, oh, I forgot to put the handle on there. Sorry about that. So this is just one company that was highlighting their Friday cookies that they had, and they just did a series of different stories. So it almost is like, okay, here's your little quick story. Then it flashes to the next one, and then it flashes to the next one. So you've got almost like a billboard that you're passing, with your stories. It's a really interesting way to do stories that I think, and it's done very nicely in this. And it certainly makes me want to eat cookies, all the cookies. And then here is an example of a story that has a product attached to it. So you can see it's like, oh, you can click on that. And I really like this person who it's probably someone who doesn't work at the store, someone just trying it on. And I really like that. And I want to have exactly what they have. And so I'm going to click on it and I'm going to buy it. Fun. So reels are the best feature for growing your engagement. That should resonate with you. They have a 60-second limit. I like the ones that are continuous, but I also really like when people do ones that are even shorter clips of videos that are stitched together. So you might be trying to create an experience. Let's say you're a cafe and you film somebody walking in the door, you stop it, and then you film somebody sitting at the table enjoying a coffee and a pastry, and then you stop it, and then you film them, picking up pastries for later and grabbing their bag, and you stop it, and then you have them going out of the store. Like those are 4 that you could stitch together to create a little tiny mini virtual experience. That's a lot of fun. You don't have to worry about background noise or anything like that, or even speaking, because you can use the music feature, and the music feature is fantastic. It just gives that level of professionalism to your videos. It's almost like you become this professional video maker, and their catalog of music is huge. And it also gives like an emotion to your post without having to add a lot of stuff on top of it. So, it's a sunny day today. And if I wanted to say, hey, come on in, it's a beautiful day, maybe I would post like good day sunshine as my music. It's just, again, you're creating a virtual experience for people. So I love the music feature. I think it's really fun. And also if you're stitching together different videos, it gives the continuity. It's all different videos, but it's all one song and feeling. Choose a good thumbnail. You don't want the person swishing in motion. You just want something attractive, so they want to click on it. But all of this said, being in the moment is more important than being perfect. And that, I would say, is true of all of your social media, especially these more in the moment kind of features. You could get caught up on trying to be a professional content creator and having a photo studio for your product, but really you just want to be in the moment and be authentic, and you don't have to be perfect. And if you do want to be perfect, then you hire somebody to do your social media for you. So I just wanted to show you where the music feature is. So when you get your reel, you can find the little music icon there if you're not familiar with it. And then something like this pops up, and you can search by subject, like sunshine, or winter is coming, or, folk music, or whatever it is. You can search by that and it'll pull up a bunch of suggestions for you. Reels are fun once you get over the hump of trying to use them. Okay, Instagram Live, another one where people have a lot of trepidation, and I certainly did before I first used it. So even somebody who's used to doing social media, I was like, there was something about live that made me afraid I was going to make a mistake. I couldn't edit. Is it going to work? Am I going to invite somebody and they can't get on? Like it took me like 3 months to honestly start to do it. But once I did, again, it's really fun. It's a really, really handy tool. And here's one of the great things about Instagram Live. So when you go live, it goes to the top of your follower story feed. It says like Liz Smith is live right now. It's like, ooh, that's exciting. I'm going to click over there and see what she's talking about, hopefully. So your visibility, you know how it's so hard to get seen in the internet space, that takes you right to the top. So that alone is something that I would consider using Instagram Live for. It sends push notifications to your followers. It gives organic engagement boost to users who use the feature, which is great. So it'll be more likely to appear. We love that. More engaging and discoverable. It allows you to create a stronger connection to people. I mean, people are talking to you, right? And especially if your business isn't one that's open physically right now, you can talk to people. They can talk to you in the chat. They're hearing what you have to say. You can look around and tell them what your environment's like today, or show something that you have on special that you don't want them to miss. And it humanizes your brand by showing a face. So you do have to be comfortable in front of the camera showing your face. But again, you don't have to show up perfectly. I certainly don't. And, if you're a home-based business, I have my dogs barking constantly during my Instagram lives, and it's fine. Nobody's expecting you to be perfect. And an example of that, I would look at some of the celebrities who do Instagram lives. Jennifer Garner is an example. She does a lot of Instagram lives, either with other people or just learning something. And they're hilarious, first of all. And secondly, she's very much not a movie star during these. They're very like no makeup and her like making mistakes all over the place. And it's just like, you just show up as you are. And people find that very relatable. They don't always want slick marketing to them. They want to see people. We've missed people during the pandemic. We like people. Most of us like people. Some of us like people. So just speaking to what I spoke to, be authentic and professional. I mean, you don't want to be, too irreverent unless that's your business. This is an important one. So do take time to plan, like maybe do an outline, or if I'm interviewing somebody, I have a list of questions that I send them in advance. I don't want to catch anybody off guard or make them be embarrassed, or just like when I'm doing this kind of a thing live, if I don't have a plan, like there are going to be blank spots in my head that I'm going to be like, what was I talking about? So it's just the thing about being live. It's also, we've learned from, using these mediums a lot. It's very distracting to look at your own face all the time. I'm always, there's always a little side conversation in my head. It's like, why is my hair doing that? Does my hair always do that? You've got all these distractions. So if you have a plan, just a list of questions or whatever it is you want to talk about, that helps a lot. It helps to be smoother and not say so much. Be consistent with an ongoing series. So the Instagram live series I did was based on a Venture Portland program called I Am a Small Business. And I used the same name to interview different small businesses in my community. And then that just became the series that I named. So if you only wanted to look at that, you can look at all those videos. Promote your live sessions beforehand. So even though it's going to give you the alert that like, hey, this account is live right now, sometimes people aren't free at that time. So you want to make sure if they want to set aside time that they can. And it also helps promote the other person if you have a guest. You will see in the feed people being like, hi, I'm here. Hello from Oklahoma. And you want to look at those and be like, hello, Oklahoma. And it's nice engagement in that way. People love to be shouted out at. And then conclude with a call to action. Like, why are they here? What do they want to do? You want them to like and follow your page, head over to my website, leave me something in the comments, whatever that is, give them something to do. Have fun. It is fun, I promise. And then save and share your live video. So you want to save it both in Instagram and then share it out. You can share out a small portion of it on your feed. But what we did with my Instagram live videos is I wanted to have yet another place to share them. So I you can contact me if you want to learn this. But I also, with Kathy, who's hopefully on this call, we found a way to work around and download the videos and share them to our YouTube channel. And that way, like the other businesses can share them. It also gives more content to our YouTube channel if people are searching around over there. So that was a fun workaround and a lot of work to get those loaded up there, but totally, totally worth it. So I don't know if there's anybody on here who has ever done an Instagram live with a guest. I am curious. I'm actually going to stop my share for a second and see if anybody has. Anybody raise your hand if you've ever done an Instagram live? Has anybody ever done an Instagram live on here? No. Yes. Joy. Just one. Okay. I haven't seen my second. Oh, there's a second page of people. Oh, yes. Mohammed Baby. I see a thumbs up from Mohammed. All right. So not a lot of people have done this platform. Good to know.
Anna from
Anna.
Swap and Play.
Hi, Anna. In my neighborhood. Instagram lives with a guest. Instagram live is fun. To me, it's more fun with a guest because it's not like I'm doing right now, like a monologue. It just gives you a little break. And then I think people are very engaging when they're in conversation, kind of playing off each other a little bit. And just like how people like to watch talk shows, to me, I look at it as like this online talk show. And, I always dreamt of having a talk show. So it gives me a platform to do that. But you also, sort of like I'm doing the presentation now and I'm thinking about what I'm saying and I'm sort of showing up as my professional self. When you're in a conversation, you're showing up a little bit more as your actual self because it's back and forth and you don't know what the other person is going to say. So there's not a lot of time to like be really slick about it. You're having a conversation. And the other thing I like about it is that I forget that I'm online when I'm in conversation. So I'm not as like nervously thinking about the next thing I have to do. I'm just in the moment. It is really fun. It's really easy. All you have to do is go live. You tell the other person that once they're watching your live, they can request to join. They just have to click a button that says request to join. You let them in the room and by magic, the screen splits and there's the two of you right there. It's really fun. I highly encourage you to try it. And when I'm thinking about like, how would this benefit a business? So it could be the restaurant owner and their chef, like talking about the chef's background, whatever that is, how they got started in the business. It could be a store with like a customer or a vendor. It's a really great way to highlight your vendors. So say that it's almost like doing like a virtual trunk show. And the vendor doesn't even have to be there. They could be in their studio. And it's a really exciting way to bring the product to your people who maybe don't feel comfortable going in person for an actual trunk show right now. Or they would be more likely to buy the product that they knew something about the vendor. But imagine having to like stand next to somebody in the store and tell the story about every single vendor product on the shelf. You'd have them in there for 3 hours, but you can get them online little by little and get them engaged. And then when they come in, they have this wealth of knowledge about what you carry and they're already kind of bought in. So I know it's intimidating and I know it's hard, but I really like Instagram Live. All right, I am going to go back to my screen and then I promise I'm going to let you guys talk soon. And if you can see down here, this is what the chat looks like when you're on Instagram Live. One thing I will say is if you're going to do Instagram Live, make sure you kind of set up your camera so that it's showing the right part of your face. I spent a long time on that till I got it exactly right. And you do want to invest in something to hold your phone. I have this tripod and I just set it up and I do everything on the tripod because there is nothing worse than holding your phone for 45 minutes. It's not fun. And I see that someone has a question. I will get to you in just a sec. Okay. Instagram and scheduling. So I don't know how many of you guys use Hootsuite or Buffer or any of those scheduling tools. I have used both of those. Here's what I will say about that. Those tools are great for Facebook and LinkedIn and some other platforms, Twitter maybe. Instagram does not like to play with those very well. So it'll be, I've had instances where it's like I've scheduled things to go out on Facebook and LinkedIn, and then the Instagram one forever just doesn't go out, or it fails, or many times if you don't have the proportions exactly right the way it likes, it'll come back when you're trying to schedule it and say, oh, these are the wrong proportions. We can set up a notification for you. And I'm like, well, why would I be using a scheduling platform if I was just going to get a notification? That's not really that helpful to me. So, and it does that a lot. The other thing that I don't like about scheduling platforms and Instagram is that often, like if you don't have the paid version, so you have Hootsuite or Buffer, it won't let you post a carousel. A carousel means several different pictures at once. You can only post one photo. And if you want to, I mean, many people post carousels. That's like what people like to, you can't tell people to swipe right if there's nothing to swipe and see, right? So again, like not that helpful. But what I compiled for you guys is a list of recommended platforms for scheduling that integrate well with Instagram. And I did put Buffer and Hootsuite there because they were on the list, but I put my little caveats about what I didn't like about them. I find, I mean, it is great you can use scheduling on Instagram, especially if you're busy and you just want to do all your work in the beginning of the week and like not look at it again, but make sure that it's something that's compatible with Instagram, or you're just going to get super frustrated, or just do it organically, just figure out when you're going to put it out. So these are the different platforms. I can say I only have used Buffer and Hootsuite. There's also Planoly, which I haven't used extensively, that I hear is very good for Instagram as well. And then we get to the buried treasure, which is you getting business, or you getting customers, or you getting reach. Like that is, you take this deep dive into Instagram and you have all, it's like an octopus with all these different arms and how you can reach people. And I think that's a pretty great reward. But I really wanted to leave quite a bit of time for questions, because I know there's a lot here and I kind of covered it quickly. So if you can raise your hand, I will call on you and we can answer questions. And I have not looked at the chat, so I'm going to quickly scroll the chat, but let's take questions from the audience first and then we'll do the chat. So I'm going to call, I think I saw Scott had his hand up. And Jacob, if you can help me call on people, that would be great, because there's a lot of people here.
Sure.
Yeah, I had just raised my hand digitally earlier while you were asking us to raise our hands. I don't have a question right now. Thanks.
You just kept it up there. Good thing it wasn't your actual hand.
I forgot to take it down. Thanks.
No worries. And Jacob, you can call on the next person.
Okay, Michael. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. Liz, I've used my cell phone a few times on Instagram, and it works. It's okay. And I'm just getting started, but I'm behind my laptop a lot. Is there a way to use that? Because every time I try, I get messed up.
Nope. Instagram is created for the phone. It's a phone app, unless you're doing a scheduling tool. So if I'm using Instagram on my laptop, I can like things, I can comment, but I can't share content. It was really created for the phone. So you really want to do it from your phone and get to know your phone well, because you want to play with Instagram the way it is comfortable in order to have your post go out right. Or say you have a picture that is, it's a long picture versus the square Instagram picture. Again, if you're trying to do that from a scheduling platform, it's not going to crop that for you. You have to go crop it. But if you're organically doing it from your phone, you can crop it within the Instagram app. So it's like, to me, that's one less step.
Liz, you could do it I think you can do it from a web page. People were just saying now.
From a web page?
On your laptop now, that maybe that's a new feature. I don't know, but
it could be.
In her head, yes.
I have never done it. Oh, Brian says that, okay, you can post from your laptop. I've actually never done it. All I know is that it works best from a phone. If it can be from a laptop now, that's new and very different and great. So that's good to know.
You have a Instagram account tied or linked to a Facebook account. Facebook has a specific interface that will allow you to post via Instagram. But
yes, that is actually true. You can do that. I haven't had a ton of luck with that, but you can. I usually tend to like to post on Instagram and share to my Facebook page. So I do it that route. But that's good to know. I mean, there's going to be things about Instagram that you guys know that I don't know for sure. So Michael, there's hope for you.
I'll try it again and see what happens now.
I would
Been a
just,
while.
the thing though about using your phone though, is that you always have it with you. So wherever you are and wherever you are in your business, you can post to Instagram. So I would say, yes, that's great if you can post to your laptop, but I would get used to, if you're going to use Instagram, I would definitely get used to for doing it from your phone. All right, who is next?
I believe Nisha was next. Hey,
All
Nisha.
right.
Hi. I was just curious if there was a quicker way to untag yourself from images that, like looking into the tagged spot. People like tag us and it's like promoting their own business and has nothing to do with us. I'm like, how do I get that off?
Well, I think there's a way in your settings you can prevent yourself from being tagged altogether. But I don't think you want to do that because there's probably some good people who tag you. So yeah, there's not a quick fix for that. The good thing is most people who are going on your Instagram account are not going over to that tagged section to see where you're tagged. They don't care.
Yeah, I did. I only
you
went
do.
when you were talking. No, you were just talking about it. I was like, oh, I should look at that. And then I was like, wait, I don't want these here.
Yeah, I know. I don't like when people do that too. It doesn't happen to me that often, but I've seen it happen to businesses where it's like, ugh, and you don't want to be associated with whatever that thing is. They didn't ask your permission. So really you have to go through and untag yourself, but you should get a notification saying blank tagged you in a post. So as soon as that comes up and it's somebody you don't recognize, you can untag yourself. But yeah, you can't, there's a lot of businesses who have turned off the tagging. They don't want to be tagged by anybody. So they just turn it off. But oftentimes there's good people there and it's fewer not great people. So I would say just every now and then just go through. It's probably not going to be that often, hopefully, unless you have a lot of spammers. But
Yeah,
if you notice somebody continually tagging you that you don't like, you can block them.
Yeah, totally. I just realized I had never done this, so I'm going to go back to the beginning.
I mean, spam is rampant. I have so many, Tanya knows, who works in our district, Kathy knows. Oh my God, the amount of spam we get in our webmail, the amount of people that I've been invited to be, a model for so many products and things in my inbox. And I'm like, yeah, go away, block. You just have to be on top of that. It's a pain. Yeah. All right, who's next?
Deborah. Hey, Deborah.
Hey, Liz, can you talk a little bit about using, or if you do use, like the Facebook Business Manager suite that allows you to schedule both, on both sides, Instagram, Facebook. And that's how I've seen a lot of people post things via laptops and stuff to Instagram.
It's true. And, Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company. So they are sort of integrated. I don't use Facebook Scheduler a lot. Again, it's another scheduling tool. I really want my Instagram audience more than I want my Facebook audience. So I think anything that you organically post, and this might just be a belief of mine, is going to get better reach than something that's coming from a third other place. And also I feel like I have more controls over it when I do it organically. However, I have heard of people using the Facebook Scheduler. You certainly can do it and play with it. And especially if you're a laptop person versus a phone person, that is a workaround. You can do it. In your experience, Deborah, have you had good luck doing that?
I just find it's easier to be able to see both platforms at the same time, especially if you have multiple pages, to see what's going on with each page and being able to look at the analytics of it easily as well.
Yeah, the analytics part is nice. Are you having to crop the Instagram pictures to be in the suggested size, or does it do it for you?
No, it kind of does. I mean, it kind of adjusts things. You have to watch how it might do it a little bit, but a little bit of that is just watching how you're composing your image anyway.
Yeah.
Knowing that even if it goes long, that there could be comments overlaying the bottom and stuff like that. So where if you're putting words on your image or whatever you're doing, knowing that it could go square on somebody's phone or, get kind of modified a little bit both sides. But yeah, I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you had used it quite a bit or if it was something that you found useful.
A little bit, but I do a certain amount of static posts, but I'm also using all the other features that Instagram has, and you can't, I don't know if the Facebook Scheduler allows you to do that, but again, a lot of those are just very organic to the phone. So I tend to be on my phone more because I want to use all the different features, and also because I want to show up as my business to like and share other people's stuff. And so like I am one of those people who spends a lot of time on Instagram, like doing my own promotion, doing other people's promotion, and also just looking at what other people are doing. So when I don't have as much joy in being on Facebook, so I don't tend to hang out there as much. I tend to hang out where I feel more comfortable and have more joy. So I hang out on Instagram, if that makes sense. But I fully understand that if you're a laptop user more, it's great that they have that tool and that it is working for you. So that's good. All right, next person.
I think there was a question in the chat from Glenn. How would you suggest a nonprofit school that's preschool through fifth grade use Instagram and get started?
Is that Swap and Play who asked?
I believe they are Tucker Maxon.
Oh, cool. Because I was going to use Swap and Play as an example if it wasn't. So I've done separate webinars for nonprofits because that's a little bit different than how you're like, marketing a business. However, you can show yourself in community. You can show people, a day in the life, what it's like to be there, what projects you're doing, what it might feel like to sign up, registering for the next, whatever it is, term or session or whatever that looks like. Highlight your staff, your teachers, your volunteers, because you're really trying to show values and who makes up the organization and why somebody would want to be in community with you. So I think a lot of really feel good posts showing values, showing your physical space, if that's what it is, and just projects that you're working on. And also it's a really great place to highlight other community organizations that you're working with as well, because I tend to see nonprofits really supporting each other, and that reaches to further audiences. And keep them fun. Kid posts are fun. All right, who's next?
Great. So there was a question about Linktree. Is there an advantage to using Linktree over integrating, something into your website, or is it just a matter of, how tech savvy you are?
I like Linktree because, again, I like to click on the Linktree link and then get that nice little menu, and then that's going to take me to wherever I want to go. Some people just don't like Linktree, or they don't like the way it's set up or the way it works, or whatever reason they don't like it. There's another one that sounds like Linktree, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, that is similar, but most people that I know who use Linktree are very satisfied with it, and it definitely does what they want. So I think it just depends like how robust your website design is too. Do you have time or a person to set up that landing page for you? Because a lot of people set up their websites with their website designer or creator, and then they don't touch it again for a while. So if that's your situation, just set up your Linktree on Instagram. And that's why I also tell people, like in the beginning of the pandemic, everybody said, get all your product online. And I found that some businesses were able to do that, and some started it and were never able to keep up with it. So I will say that if you're able to do it, awesome, set up your Instagram shopping. If you're not, set up a way that your customers can engage, like say in the caption, if you're interested in the 3 products on this page, DM us and we will set it aside for you, or we will call you and set up a payment. Find a way for them to engage and get the product versus just doing the post and hoping they'll come in.
Okay, we got time for one more. It looks like Luke is wondering, how often should we post content? And does that vary by the type of content?
Yeah, of course, social media likes a lot of content, but I would say you don't really want to do filler content. If you could post one thing every day, that would be awesome. But if you have 3 to 4 great posts a week, that's also fine. It really has to be like what you have capacity for and what actions you want people to take. So sometimes creating a really well-crafted post with clear action points that you maybe do 2 or 3 posts a week is fine. Or if you're somebody who's fine with the day-to-day, to keep them engaged every day and you want them to keep them in your mind every day. It's like, you're getting your morning coffee, you're calling out that coffee shop, it's a beautiful sunny day, you've just rearranged the back room, you've got a new special on the list. That frequency is great because that keeps the content going. So you're either going to do more nuanced posts and fewer of them, or you're going to do just fun in the minute posts that like keep you in their feed. There's no one formula. You kind of have to see what works for you. Same thing with hashtags. Like they used to tell you the amount of hashtags you were supposed to do. And now I would say, do the hashtags that seem relevant to you, and don't kill yourself over it if you cannot handle doing hashtags.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Liz. A lot of great info here. I feel like we're just hitting the tip of the iceberg with this particular platform. So definitely want to keep the conversation going. Unfortunately, we are at 1 o'clock, so we are going to say goodbye, but I'll follow up with everybody here via email, share some of the resources that we talked about, including the slides that Liz presented, and we can keep the conversation going if you have any additional questions. So thanks so much for coming, and definitely stay tuned for more webinars from Venture Portland and Bizzy Lizzie.
And could you save the chat for us, Jacob? Because we have a lot of
I will definitely do that because
Thank
a
you.
lot of stuff going on in the chat today. Thanks so much for participating, everybody. And yeah.
Thanks, you guys. And I'll see you on Instagram.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liz.
Thank you. Thanks, Nancy. Good to see you.